Hello and welcome to another episode. This is episode 5 of my 14 shootout. Today's razor is an actual Filarmonica 14, the other one that I have. This one is a Doble temple. It is a generation 1, which you can tell because there's no made in Spain label on the back of the tang, which means this was made before 1950. And it has the appropriate Jose Montserrat markings on the show side of the tang. This razor has a black shadow edge, so the edge that we're trying today is black shadow. I'm using, as with this series, I'm using Saponificio Varesino soaps and products. So today's soap is Morado. Morado is kind of the woodiest and sort of darkest of the Saponificio Varesino soaps that I have. I'm getting going here, wetting the face. I've already loaded the brush. It's a Brad Sears Badger brush. One day of growth, but yesterday's shave was morning. This is a late afternoon shave, so I have a little more than 24 hours. All of the soap bases, or the soap base that I have for all of the Saponificio Varesino soaps, is the Beta 4.3 base, which is excellent for straight razor shaving. It's a vegetal base, but lathers quickly and easily, super slick. These are expensive soaps, but very high quality. I think you get what you pay for, especially with the scents. The scents, I believe, I like all the scents. I mean, I have 7 of these soaps. And the reason that I'm using Saponificio Varesino soaps is I have 7 of the soaps. I also have 7 14 style razors. So let's see what this black shadow edge feels like. Wow. I've not used a black shadow edge. On a 14 before. And that's very comfortable. A little softer feel than what I recall with the Olympus edge. Very keen, and that's I know that from testing. I will link the honing video in the description. Really feels good. It's Sunday. October 12th. I think it's the 12th. I lose track of time. It's definitely a Sunday shave. Here in Annapolis, the Annapolis Boat Show is going on. Which is a big deal here. So lots of traffic if you're going downtown. Which I'm not. I've been out and about today. Cloudy, chilly, but not bad. Put a little food down for the urban critters who don't need it, but I like feeding them. That's, you know, the urban critters are you know, very dangerous. You got your deer, your fox, your squirrels, and then I put a bunch of bird seed and chopped up nuts down for the birds. And again, they don't need it this time of year. But it's kind of a hobby of mine. All right. The idea behind using 14s is that I think that the Filarmonica 14 has sort of the Goldilocks, the Goldilocks geometry. The blade width is kind of perfect for transmitting an awful lot of feel to the edge that's at the end of a hollow grind, and the geometry which the way I measure it is just shy of 16 degrees. Bevel geometry is, again, I think kind of perfect for many people. This is one of the most, if not the most popular or revered straight razors. So trying different edges on what I consider to be an ideal geometry is, in my view, a way to really evaluate the difference between the texture that the different stones provide at the apex. I'm also doing my best to come off each stone with the same level of keenness. And with a nice smooth outline. On the edge itself. Outline is viewed straight down. I want the edge to be unbroken. Have a nice form. Only evidencing the nature of the stone used. And like all the other 4 shaves so far, excellent. Excellent first 2 passes. Which supports my theory that geometry is king, and that the type of stone is secondary, so long as you can use a finishing stone that gives you the level of keenness you want, then for a given razor, then the geometry is going to be what differentiates one razor from another. I have some razors that I'm pretty comfortable with geometries from 15 to 18 degrees, and I can feel it when the bevel angle is beyond that, regardless of the blade thickness, which is interesting. I think the blade thickness contributes to the Goldilocks nature of the 14. The blade of the hollow ground is very, very thin, and so that bevel is created on a very thin piece of material. My skin right here is really sensitive, so I don't do much talking when I'm shaving in that area. Especially where I'm pivoting the blade across that area. As I mentioned, Morado is kind of woody. I'll put the notes up. There's definitely some citrus top notes. I get something like a mandarin orange, maybe, maybe tangerine, something like that. There's a orangey note along with what I assume is some other typical citrus top notes. The woody notes are very smooth, and that's really what I react to with this soap. There may even be I may be imagining this because I don't really remember the notes, but there may even be something tobacco-y in here. Had a lot of caffeine today, so I'm being a little bit careful with my left hand, which tends to be affected. More by caffeine than my right hand does. Oh, fabulous shade. So do I notice anything that's unique about the black shadow? Not really. Not really. I don't know whether I would be able to differentiate this from other edges other than it has that safety, stability, comfort that a codicule edge has. Sharper than a typical codicule edge, but the codicule edge I produced for this series was exceptionally sharp for a codicule edge. Now that's not to say that that there's anything wrong with this edge. It's just that I don't really have a way of differentiating it. It's super keen, very comfortable, but I don't know that I would be able to say, oh yeah, that's a black shadow edge. Whereas with a codicule or a J-net edge, there are characteristics that I can feel. This is a great edge, great shave. Okay, I'm going to pause and I will be right back. Okay, everything's cleaned up. I like to get the razor out of this damp environment as soon as I can, which is why I pause. Before I paused, I used Thayers coconut, which is not sweet for anybody who's interested. It smells more like a coconut husk. Here is the Sears Badger brush that I used. There you go, you get a chance to see it. It'll also be in the thumbnail. I'm going to use the Morado Aftershave. It's kind of as with others of these, it's kind of a mix between an aftershave, a balm, and a gel. These, again, you know, you get what you pay for. These are very, very nice. There's a touch of something in there. It's not alcohol, but there's a a feeling of something that's a little antiseptic on the skin that I enjoy with alcohol splashes. No burn, no nothing. In terms of feedback, a super, absolutely super close, wonderful shave. As I said, I've set myself up for wonderful shaves in this series. You know, if you're using the Goldilocks razor, you're likely to get wonderful shaves. This is, I'm going to follow up the woodiness with Creed's Royal Oud. Okay, and then finally here, for the talc, I'm going to use, Yardley's Gold. Make sure I pick the right brush. Don't want to pick the Brad Sears. Oh, really nice, really nice. Really nice mix of the slight fragrance of the Yardley with everything else that I've put on. Super shave. All right, that's it for episode 5. Thank you for joining me. I always appreciate your comments and any questions you have. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.